All right, folks. I have Sharon Doherty on the show today. I met this lady down at the Fitness Expo in the Clanry, and we got talking to her, and I kind of asked her about her sort of background and how she got into the health and fitness industry. And she's a lady that's accomplished quite a bit. This, I would say, she's stage two cancer free now, 6 years. She was a teacher before. Now she's like a yoga teacher. She's a meditation teacher. She's an author. So I thought her story was really interesting, and I think would impact quite a lot of people. So that's why I've asked her to um, have a wee chat with me today, and so we can talk about her past, how she kind of got to where she is today, and what her vision for health, fitness, and wellness, and how she wants to impact people in that sort of area, and the importance of it. So, Sharon,
Yes,
can
Seamus.
you? Yeah, thanks for taking the time today to have a
Thanks a
chat with
million.
me.
Yeah,
Um,
cool, great.
you Can you sort of introduce yourself and give a little bit of a background on where it all sort of began for you with regards to getting into the health and fitness industry?
Yeah, sure, Seamus. It started for me 6 years ago. At the age of 37, I was diagnosed with stage two breast cancer. I was on a career break from school. I'm a secondary school teacher, and I was just about to head off to South Africa to join the Clipper Around the World yacht race to do the Southern Ocean leg of the race. So that was for the full month of November, sailing from South Africa to Western Australia. I was really looking forward to it. Had all my training done, all my money saved, which wasn't easy. I'd found a couple of lumps myself earlier in the year, like you're talking maybe 9 months previously, and
Hmm.
I ignored them. And I just started on the contraceptive injection because I didn't want that hassle when I was doing all my sailing training and everything and on a boat and everything else. And so the lumps appeared sort of just after I started back on the contraceptive injection. And I ignored them because I had a little benign cyst before. I didn't think anything of it. That was about the September, October time. And by the May, I kind of said to my GP, because they'd gotten quite big, I could feel a couple of sort of lumps and they were quite sore if I lay on them. Mentioned to my GP, and he referred me for um, a mammogram and a biopsy. Now, I don't have mammograms anymore because I just think self-checking and ultrasounds are safer. I don't like the radiation in mammograms, but that's me personally.
Yeah.
And so I went in, had the biopsy on the Monday, was given 17.8% chance of it being cancerous. I got the phone call then on the Wednesday to come in for results on the Thursday. And I thought, oh, that's a bit fast. But I wasn't, it was fine. I knew the lumps were pretty big and they were sore. So it was something that I was kind of aware that it was a possibility.
Hmm.
Um, I'd been previously, well, very briefly, I lost my son when he was 4 days old, 15 years ago. Um, I'd had a quite a large duodenal cyst removed, a benign cyst removed from my stomach. 5 years after that, then a hernia repair operation a year after that. So I'd been through a lot. School was really busy, and I was a real stress head. Oh my goodness. I was drinking strong coffee, getting a mug of strong coffee, insomnia coffee, going to school in the morning, jittery, nervous, not knowing why I was nervous, really, really busy, flat out, working till 11, half 11 at night, not getting enough sleep, opening a bottle of wine in the evening, having a glass of wine in the empty stomach when I was coming home from work. When I come home from work, you're not allowed to drink at school. They don't approve of it. um, so, so I knew I hadn't. I knew I hadn't been really looking after myself, and I knew I'd been too busy and too stressy. And a real perfectionist. I'm still a bit of a perfectionist, but I let stuff go a lot more easily now than I used to. So when I actually got the diagnosis, I wasn't surprised, to be honest, but it kind of threw everything out. My plan was to go sailing. And so the doctor had said to me, he said, well, you know, you'll be back next week to start your chemo. The following couple of weeks, you'll have a lumpectomy. And I looked at him and I said, oh, I can't come back next week. I'm going on holidays next week. I said, and I'm not having chemo. And by the way, I'm going sailing for the whole month of November. And honestly, his reaction was priceless. If I had called his mother a tramp, he wouldn't have been more startled. He just looked at me and he looked at the nurse and he looked back at me and he held his hand up and he just went, speak to the nurse. So I was like, okay. So I spoke to the nurse and I said, look, I'm not coming back next week. I'm in England next week on holidays. Um, and she's like, all right, well, you know, when you come back in and with more tests to do. So I went and I had my holiday and I didn't really think about it. You know, I had the diagnosis and I knew that. And at that stage, I had decided I was going to go ahead and do the race because I hadn't taken out the extra insurance. I'd said to somebody about the extra insurance for the Clipper race. It was £400 or £500 extra for this insurance if something did happen to you. And I mean, for me to do the race, it was about 15,000. You know, it was a huge amount of money for me that I was just going to lose. And also, not just the money, I wanted to do that race. I wanted to go sailing as part of that Clipper race, you know. And so I had decided I'd just go ahead and do, because I still felt okay. I was tired. I was very tired. That is one thing I will say. I had been sort of working out, and then it got to the point where I was just tired, you know, a lot of the time. But apart from that, I didn't feel bad. But somebody said to me, you know, you're taking a massive risk doing that race. And I really stopped for a second and I thought, yeah, actually you are, you know, it's a tough race to do. The Southern Ocean's tough. So I decided to have the mastectomy. It turned in then to mastectomy. But by taking my time, I was able to do a little bit more reading and research and, you know, which was important.
How quick was the time from whenever you found out you got this the
The,
the 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 cystectomy?
the mastectomy, yeah. So I could have had it. I could have had it sooner, but
Yeah.
I booked my holiday. So I found out I was diagnosed on the 22nd of August, and I had the mastectomy on the 25th of November. I could have had it sooner, but I went to. They let me go to South Africa and have my holiday anyway, because I had all my flights and accommodation and all booked in South Africa. So I went out to South Africa and had about a week's holiday or 10 days holiday. So it was August, September, about 3 months. 3 months after diagnosis, I had the mastectomy in the November, and then I had final reconstructive surgery in the March, and then just a month later in the April, I discovered that there was a space on one of the boats coming back from New York, the homecoming leg of the race. So I was very, very lucky in that I was able to fly out then to New York. But it meant that I just had my last surgery in the March, so I had quite a good bit of work to do then. So I suppose that's I got a PT, did a weights program with me that I could do just at home, just with free weights at home, to start to strengthen everything. I just started eating really well, started slowly going out running, and was fairly good shape when I joined the boat.
How did the crew support you as well? Obviously
Yeah,
were they aware and stuff, and how did they react?
yeah. I was originally supposed to be on the London Derry Dura boat, and they were lovely. They found out, they sent me a big bunch of flowers. The skippers and the crew got together and sent me a bunch of flowers. I went out and I saw them in Cape Town, and the day the boats all sailed off was the day that I flew home then to start the whole operations procedure. So it was very disappointing that I wasn't getting to do that Southern Ocean leg of the race. But I was on a career break from school, you know, and I was in really, really good form. I was in really good form. There was stuff that had to be done. And then this is when I started the whole reading. I did a lot of reading then, a lot of research. I would spend hours, days. I spent years on my computer researching, and the amount of stuff that I didn't know, the amount of stuff that I thought, oh my goodness, really? I was just baffled by the amount that I was completely unaware of. And lots of simple things like, you know, the importance of taking sea salt or rock salt in your diet. It's essential for us. I thought salt was bad for us, so I didn't take salt at
Yeah.
all. And it turns out, yes, table salt's bad for us, but sea salt and rock salt are essential for us to be healthy. They contain all the right ratios of minerals that we need.
Yes.
So that's just one very small example. And then one of my best friends said to me, look, I don't have time to do all the reading that you do. Just give me the bullet points.
Yes.
Thought that's actually a really good idea. Like, just put the bullet points into a little book. And I love photography. I'm into photography. I always have been, and I've gotten into flower photography. My mum has lots of flowers in the garden, so I combined the two. So it's a little booklet, or it's a little book, that is just a succinct points for every page of little things that we can do to be healthier.
Yes.
Um,
Very good.
so, and that was published then. I got that published myself just in June of this year. But yeah, so flew out to New York, and it's fun. Yeah, so 2 days out of New York, I was watching dolphins. There were dolphins in the water, and so when you're on the 70-foot racing yacht, and I was watching the dolphins, and I ran forward to see get a better view, and didn't notice that the hatch was open at the front of the boat, and fell straight down the hatch.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no.
Oh my goodness, I know. Could have been a lot worse. I could have banged my head and been gone. But I cracked 3 ribs on the second day out of New York. Um, and I just got a lot of ice packed on around my ribs, and that kept the inflammation, the swelling down, and the bruising down. I didn't bruise at all, but that slowed the race down for me. But I kept going, you know, painkillers, unfortunately, and the race was amazing.
You were still able to kind of help out the crew and
Yeah,
everything, or
I
what
still
was
did.
your?
I still did everything that I had to do. Yeah, yeah. I didn't go up. I wasn't allowed to go up the bow and be in the rough waves and pulling on all
Yeah.
the heavy sails. But everything else that had to be done, yeah, I went ahead and did. Yeah.
Really?
So
You
I
sound like a person who, like, there's never a moment now talking to you that you feel like that it comes across like you feel sorry for yourself, or that like you were in a bad mindset
no,
about things. You kind of just went on and you just says, well, I've got a holiday book, I'm going to go on it.
I know, I
I'm
know,
sure I'll come back and get it sorted. It's
a hundred
but that,
percent. Yeah, yeah. I think there's a massive big fear around the whole cancer issue, and it is, if it's not taken seriously, it will kill you. It's as simple as that.
yes,
But being scared and I think fear is created unnecessarily by lots of different areas. Like even organizations that say they're out to help, they still push the fear side of things, because fear, you can't think straight when you're scared or when you're in that fearful mindset. And I just read something this morning, actually, or I watched a video. And whenever cortisol is released in your body, so that's your fight or flight, one of your fight or flight stress hormones, your your ability to think clearly is reduced straight away by 50% when you're running on cortisol. So you're not thinking clearly, and you can't make informed, logical decisions. So no, I'm really lucky in that I don't panic easily anyway. And I didn't let anybody else sort of around me, everybody like my family, my parents, my sister, my best friend, and it was all, look, it's absolutely going to be fine. There's lots I can do, and we'll just keep going, and I'll look after myself. But I've made a lot of changes, and so this is when the big changes in my health and fitness kicked in, because I chose not to have any of the traditional treatments after the mastectomy. So I knew I never wanted chemotherapy. Radiation, I had to do a little bit of reading about, because I didn't know enough about it. And then I thought, no, do you know, there's no safe level of radiation, so I'm going to stay away from that. And
yeah,
then the hormone drugs, which basically put you into menopause. And at 37, there was no way. I just seen my mum go through it. There was no way I was going through that. Um, and that creates a whole other host then of problems with your bones and your heart and just your general health. And I thought, no, none of this is for me. Now, I gathered a whole team of angels at the bottom of my bed as well. Honestly, the conversations that we used to have was like crazy. People think I'm mad, but and no, it was just a case of keep going. But because I wasn't taking those treatments, I had to make the big changes myself. So
Yeah.
that's when the nutrition really kicked in. So that's when, and I used to begrudge spending money on food, and now I don't care what it costs. I buy as much organic fruit and veg as I can. There's a clean 15 and a dirty dozen list from the Environmental Working Group, EWG, fabulous website. And so anything on that list that they consider most pesticide covered fruit and veg, I just buy organic. It is expensive though.
Okay.
So a little tip for viewers could be, if you can't buy organic, because it is extremely expensive, you know, it's twice the price of ordinary.
Yeah.
Wash your fruit and veg really well. Put a little bit of either baking soda or vinegar into the water with it, and that will strip off more of the chemicals.
Does that have to be in for a certain length of time, or is it just
Well,
5 minutes washing it
just
there?
yeah, just you can steep it for a little bit. Be careful with some of the softer fruits. You steep it for a little, just wash it well, and that's the best. Even warm soapy water, you know, just wash the stuff the best you can, and that.
Okay.
But buying whole foods, like I don't buy anything processed at all anymore. I make all my foods. My snacks will be things like dates and oat cakes and vegetable sticks, nut butters.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a big change there. And eating little and often, every 3 to 4 hours, a little handful of nuts and seeds. Um, Eating regularly and often. I don't
Said
eat
about
after my main. Yeah, that keeps everything steady. You know, I don't eat after my main meal in the evening, so
yeah.
that's an overnight fast. So from about 7 p.m. to about 7 or 8 the next morning. So that's your intermittent fasting, which is really excellent as well, because your whole body's starting to heal then when it's not digesting or food. So
Yeah, you mentioned like having a wee bit of protein with each meal and stuff as well, just to help with the aiding of repair. And
yeah, yeah. And good fats. Fats, like we've this awful fear with fat. Fat doesn't
yeah,
make us fat. Do you know, fat is not a bad thing. Like eat the skin of the chicken with chicken if you're eating it. You know, don't be scared of that type of fat. Avocados, olive oil, even butter. Like I don't use any spreads anymore, so it's only butter, whole
yes,
full fat products, no diet products ever at all. All the old wholesome foods that we just don't eat as much of anymore. So I brought all that back into my diet, and then lots of alternative treatments. You know, I went to India as well and did my yoga teacher training because I had been doing yoga and I love it. So I spent the month of June 15 in India and did my yoga teacher training, and that's an integral part of my healing for sure, because you're so in tune with your body when you're doing yoga. It's just you and your body and your breath, and you really
yes.
get to feel it and how it moves and how it works, and that's you healing, you know. So
Yeah, you were saying like earlier, whenever you have to be a lot like very self-aware on how your schedule and day
mm,
is running, like with
yeah,
regards to children or job and stuff, and you'd have to be very selective of how you, like even like your stressful teacher job,
yeah,
right? Instead of
yeah,
going for um a 10K run or something like that, a yoga session would do you 10 times more
yeah,
than that run basically. So
yeah. I think so. I think if you've got a really busy job that you're active and you're on the go all the time, then you don't need more activity in your system, because while you're active, you're not your system isn't calming down. You're not getting all your happy, feel good hormones, you know. And I
yeah,
think so. If you have a very active life, you need to relax more and do like yoga or tai chi or um, something more gentle. But if you've a seated job, sitting so bad, and I even find that now since I've stopped teaching this year, and I'm sitting a lot more, my hips aren't, you know, I really have to be careful. And you just feel it in
yeah,
your body, sitting so bad. Um, and I think our busy lives, we have to prioritize. And I'm getting so good now at going, no, I don't want to do that. Actually, I don't want to do that. And so you have to learn to say no, and that's just it. And
yeah.
then
And
things
there's
like,
certain there's certain things in that scenario where people would feel obligated to do something, and
Yeah,
it could be to meet up with a friend or something, but they have to rejig a lot to kind of make that
yeah,
meeting, and stress about it. And like you were saying, like even things like that,
yeah.
um, it can actually build, and so
For sure. I used to always, because a lot of my friends all have their families, I sort of was the one that did all the running to stay with them,
mhm,
and to visit them at weekends and everything. And I would be tired at the end of the week. And the last thing sometimes I wanted to do was drive an hour and a half or 2 hours to go and meet people. And I don't do it anymore, I have to
yeah,
say. And you feel bad. You can feel bad in one sense, but there's no point in making yourself sick just to do something that you think is a nice thing to do,
yeah,
and that's a change of mindset, because I think too many people, and especially working mums, I'm not taking against working dads are fabulous too, but I think working mums especially have this guilt thing that they think they have to do more, and there's no harm in just saying, no, I'm tired, I'm sleeping. No, I'm tired, I don't have time to. Or no, I'm tired, I simply don't want to. I'm sorry. And that's just it, you
yeah.
know?
And what would you do to kind of get people to be more self-aware in that scenario? Like you
Yeah.
said earlier, about listening to your body, are you tired and stuff? But what sort of things would you sort of teach whenever you're talking to women and stuff?
Um, so I think one of the biggest thing is stress. If I say to people, are you stressed? And if somebody had said to me 6 years ago, 7 years ago, are you stressed? I would never have said I was stressed. Absolutely not. I would
Hmm.
say, yes, I was very busy, but I would never have said I was stressed. Because we think of stress in a negative way. We think that we're not coping properly if we say we're stressed. And that's not it at all. Life is very, very busy. Um, but the body doesn't distinguish between busy and stress. It's the same thing to the body, being very busy. If you're rushing, so if you're busy in the morning getting everything out, you're rushing to work, you're rushing about in your job, you're thinking about the 15 other things that you have to try and do, you're juggling, you're trying to fit in a workout session, you're trying to eat healthy, you're trying to do, the
Yeah,
body just thinks it's stress. The body just thinks, there's too much happening, there's too much cortisol. Um, so the biggest thing for me, if I can get people, and so many people have come back and said to me, oh, I never thought of it that way. So if you can even just be aware that being busy is the same as stress, you're damaging your body the same way as if, stress and being busy. So it is very damaging being too busy. So that's one thing. Getting people to sort of prioritize and be able to say no to stuff. Priorities. Find out what your absolute priorities are. Make sure that those are done. And that also includes rest time, just rest where you actually stop. I don't think working women stop from the minute they get up in the morning to the minute they go to bed at night. I don't know how many of them will actually sit down with a cuppa or sit down with their kids and watch 15 minutes of TV, or sit down and, even scroll through social media. They're just always on the go. And that's really bad. We have to be scheduling in regular rest, and breathing, proper breathing.
and
Mm.
organizing themselves.
Mm.
I'm trying to think. Like I know, even like I talk about me, my mom. My mom does so much, and she, you know, it's like she has to collect my brother or whatever. She
Mm.
is making the dinner. She might get out
Mm.
now and spend some time with her friends and go for walks and stuff, which is really good and
Mm.
it's relaxing.
Yeah,
But then even thinking about where you, even like weight loss and stuff, and they worry about like it builds up a worry that they're not where they want to be,
yeah,
and it starts a vicious circle and thought process as well. Just wee simple things like that.
yeah,
I think we need the art of just letting go to a lot of
yeah,
stuff. And
100%. Yeah,
do you do any sort of meditation or any
yeah.
sort of tricks or tips for people to kind of learn to let go and to let the
Do you know,
I'm going to say a swear word, but not give up. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I know there's a fabulous book I read, actually. It's on my bookcase. It's called, let me just move and see what it's called. Oh, yeah, it's called Effort Therapy. Um, And it is good, and it's basically that. I think the whole concept as well of like, see this whole 10,000 steps thing. Would you put that down? you know, I think, oh, it's so hard because people need targets, and that's important because that gives
Yeah.
you something to a goal to strive towards. But that also puts pressure on you to get those 10,000 steps, and then you feel bad if you don't get the 10,000 steps in, and that's when that feeling bad is what kicks off this whole other. I think there's another thing that happens in the body where that stress then, or that annoyance, you hold fat. You don't, your body isn't working properly. So, and and that puts a different type of pressure on you, which is equally, unhelpful. And it's a whole, like my mum said to me, I said to them one time about flipping the switch from negative thinking to positive thinking.
Yes.
And it's so funny. My parents were out, they had an evening out not too long ago, and I said to them the next day, I said, well, how did you enjoy your night? And I said to them both separately, and one of them said, weren't too many people at it. And the other mum said, yeah, there weren't a lot of people there. And I said, that's so funny. And then I said, did you enjoy the night? And they said, oh, yeah, it was a great night. And I said, well, why didn't you say that first? Why did you
Yes.
jump to a negative first? You could have just said it was a fabulous night, full
Yes.
stop, or it was
Yes.
a fabulous night. There weren't too many there, but sure, it was a fabulous night. And so we were automatically drawn to the negative anyway.
Yeah.
So flipping that, and so I'd said to mum about it, and like with any sort of practice that you do, it's over and over and over again. You have to do it, and I've had to do this for years now, where I flip from, if something's worrying me, or I'm scared of something, or I don't, just flip it. Go look for the positive. Look for the positive. Look for the positive. Keep trying. But you have to do it over and over and over and over.
Yes.
I think you're very good if you can flip immediately. Maybe some people can. I don't know. It's been a practice with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is. It does take
you
time.
know,
Something like that takes
it
time.
takes
Yeah.
time. It does take time, and it's a complete mindset change. But once you get there, and once you kind of keep focusing on all the good things, negativity really annoys you. And people who are constantly negative really suck the life out of
It
you,
does.
you
It does.
know?
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
it's really draining. And then you see it all, you see it everywhere, and you see all this negativity, and then I get frustrated because I think, oh my God, don't look for the good, look at the good, look at all the stuff that you have to be grateful for,
Yeah.
and that pulls me through days where I think, oh, this isn't working, or that's not working, or I'm not making progress with whatever. And I think, do you know what? You got up this morning, you got out of bed this morning, you're able to do things, you're
Yeah.
living and you're alive and you're healthy, and my God, what else do you need really? You
And
know?
a lot of people kind of don't, they forget how far they've come. Well, someone like
Mm,
yourself, you'll have a down day, but you'll know
mm,
you'll get those down days, but just to sit and think, well, jeekers, I've come this far. Things aren't that
yeah,
bad, or
yeah,
whatever.
that's it.
Tell me a wee bit more about this book then.
Yeah. So the
How
book
did that come
is
about then?
the
You
book,
said
yeah,
you had your friend marking
yeah.
some bullet points and stuff, but putting it together and
So
everything.
putting it together took a long time, because what I discovered was that every statement that I make has a but. That's going to be the name in my next book. I told Mark Patterson that as well in his show. Everything has a but is going to be the name of one of my next books. Because if I say to you, okay, fish is very good for you. We all know that fish is very good for us, but not farmed fish, or not fish that's too high in mercury, or not fish that comes from lakes that are polluted. So,
Yes.
um, so every single thing that I went to research, I had to check and double check, and there's so many different perspectives. Like even this whole vegan thing at the minute, I'm not vegan and I never will be. But I eat good quality meat. I
Hmm.
eat the steak that I eat is organic. It's expensive. I don't eat organic chicken, I have to say, but I eat more chicken, turkey. Um, and so, but people will say, oh no, would you have to be vegan or vegetarian to be healthy? And and it's a controversial point, and it's, you know, I know people who have gone vegetarian and are very healthy and are doing very well. Um, but so everything took a lot of time with getting the book, that I was happy that the information was good for the general public.
Yeah.
Um, and it was originally 212 pages, and then I discovered that because it's full color, and it's an unusual shape, that was going to be something like €45 per book to print,
Right.
which and that was just a no-go. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and I cut it back to the most essential. So it's 120 pages now of what I think is the most essential information. But again, so, and I love it. It's available, I suppose, for me. It's available in a few bookshops in Donegal and Sligo. Haven't got it into Derry anywhere yet.
You put it on
Um,
Amazon.
no, because Amazon dropped the price straight away. It'll be it'll be $2.99 tomorrow or the next day. Do you know what I mean? So you don't make any money from Amazon. But the point of the book wasn't making money anyway. Actually, it was information sharing. It was getting information out there.
Yeah.
That was important. But people contact me on Facebook. I sent a lady in Mayo 2 copies of the book yesterday, because she'd heard me speaking, and she bought a couple of copies for Christmas. So yeah, so the book's nice. I'm happy with how it's come out and the quality and everything.
And
And
it's
hopefully,
no, go ahead.
yeah, hopefully, like it's again, there's lots of little things in it that we can do, easy, simple things like switching from table salt to sea salt, like being aware of stress, like breathing techniques. It talks about essential oils and alternative practices like physio and kinesiology, and all these different things that we can try. And again, you can sit and read through the book, and that's great, and it's lovely, and it's very pretty. It's a lovely wee coffee table book. But if you don't actually implement some of these things and try to make those changes, then
Oh,
it's not it's not gonna help people. So
no.
hopefully, hopefully,
It's a triggered a wee. This little book triggered a little bit of a like you want to do more of these little books and stuff. Has it triggered
yeah,
something on you?
yeah, absolutely. There's so many things that I have found myself. So basically, I want to know now, right? How much vitamin C do I need in the day, and how can I get that from whole foods? How many oranges do I actually have to eat? How many peppers? Where can I get my vitamin C? How much magnesium do I need in the day, and where can I get that naturally? So that's another book that I'd love to write, that somebody can just open a book that has the basics, because I've read 100 different books. Like if I just pick up one now from my desktop at the minute, it's called The Calcium Lie, and an absolutely fascinating read. And it's all about how, we've been misled into thinking that it's calcium we need for our bones. And it's not, it's a whole range of things: magnesium,
Vitamin
D3,
D.
D. Absolutely, we need our sun. And that's a
Yeah.
whole other kettle of fish. Is the sun good? Is it not good? It's actually very good for us, but not if we burn. Oh, so
We're
it just
struggling
never
here in
stops,
Ireland with
you
that.
know.
We're
Oh, we
struggling in Ireland
absolutely.
with burn.
Yeah, oh, I know. But the other thing is, because we're not used to the sun, we burn much more quickly, so it's much more dangerous for Irish people, the sun.
Yeah.
So melanoma is actually really on the rise in Ireland, unfortunately.
Mm.
So yeah, where
Where
were we?
so you want to kind of go into more specific stuff like that down the line? Like this is where's your business going? Where's your
Where is it
outlook
going
going
now?
for the future?
I love giving wellness talks. I have to say that I do these wee wellness workshops with women, and that's lovely. It's we get to chat sort of more privately, and they can open up a little bit more. But I'd love to get into like schools and into businesses, to give them an hour or a 2 hour talk on just all the things that I've learned. So I love those wellness talks. I've had a few of them now, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed them. It's very hard at the minute. It's not. I'm finding it hard to get the audience for that, and get it. It will come with time. I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure of that. I'm teaching yoga, so that's just sort of just started this week. It's a 6-week block now up to Christmas, and then we'll continue that in next year as well. And so hopefully that will progress too. And so who knows, I'd love to get, ideal world, I get a book deal. And so I'm
And
flat out
McMillan,
writing to,
yes.
oh, it's not, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it? But it's, yeah, just keep doing this health and wellness, and just trying to prevent. We have to prevent. We have to stop these statistics in their tracks now. And something earlier on, Seamus actually meant to say, I think a big part of the fact that I got well quite quickly, because somebody said to me, "Oh, you had the mastectomy, so it was all gone." But that's not the way it works. Like, I had the mastectomy, but the tumor that I had, it set up its own blood supply, and it was feeding itself. That it had gotten so far, and so there were cancer cells circulating in my body anyway the whole way. So having the mastectomy, it took the main tumor away, yes. But I think a big part of my healing was due to the fact that I really took responsibility for it. I was able to identify, to me, what were the main causes. Now, it's not always clear what the causes are, but I think we have to be very aware that, like, something like 80% of illness is due to lifestyle. And that's massive. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That means we've got so much control. And so I was able to say, okay, yeah, I've done this wrong, I've done that wrong, that was a mistake, I'll not do those anymore. And so healing then just sort of naturally follows.
That's good. It's a process. It's like, yeah, I would say your overall diet and lifestyle wasn't overly unhealthy, or, as we say, wasn't anything against the
No,
norm, so to speak.
no,
And
no,
our
no.
eyes, but it's those simple wee changes just
That's
took
it.
you over the
That's
age
it.
where it helped you so much more.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't have been. I was never a particularly bad eater. I never ate much sugar. I was always into fruit and that, and I always stayed fairly active doing something. So from that, but stress was probably the biggest. Grief and
Mm.
stress. Definitely stress was, yeah, too much coffee and too much alcohol on an empty stomach. But I still love a glass of wine. Still love a glass of wine. I still love a gin and tonic or a glass of champagne. Yeah. So yeah, and I still, well, I've come off coffee now this past sort of 6 or 7 days just to see how it feels. But I still enjoy a nice cup of coffee as well.
That's good. That's good. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of links with, like, the coffee, just raising your heart rate, increasing anxiety, different things like that. And
Yeah.
but
100%.
there's loads of
Yeah.
little things.
Loads, loads. Yeah.
Look, have you anything else you wanted to? I just want this to kind of go out, and for women to maybe even just relate to
Mm,
it in some way, that there is light at the end of the tunnel if there is a diagnosis and things there that they're going through, or dealing with loss of a loved one.
yeah.
There's different ways to look at things. So
Yeah.
I would say that even here now, hearing your story, things might not be all that bad, but ways to kind of cope with that. And again, they can probably contact you through social media and stuff. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
them where they can actually get in contact with you or find your
Yeah.
book?
So I suppose the easiest thing is through Facebook. So it's You Got This Health Thing. So the name of the book is You Got This. And so the web page is, or Facebook is You Got This Health Thing. And so they can find me there on Facebook. And that's the easiest way to check in and see. There's lots of videos up there about stuff that I come across and stuff that I do all the time. Information. I share a lot of information that I think is useful for people. And they can contact me directly there and buy the book through there as well. And then just, yeah, just reach out if they have any questions. They can come and ask me as well. And like, what I have to say as well, she was like, I'm not a doctor. I have no medical training at all. I have a degree in psychology, um, and like, I'm a yoga teacher and all the rest, but I'm not. So this is just me from what I've been doing and what I've been learning
Yeah.
and what's working for me.
Yes, and again, it's sometimes having all the certificates and stuff uh, doesn't mean as much as having the experience of
The
it, and just
experience.
be able to relate. And
Yeah.
if someone did want to kind of speak to you, and they maybe have friends or family, then maybe you could end up doing one of those wee talks for them,
Yeah,
and a bigger crowd, So
yeah,
um, that's where
yeah.
I would hope
No,
this would kind of snowball for you, and so that you get sort of some traction and getting your message out there. And as I say, like nobody's, you have to say that like you're not a doctor or anything like that,
no,
but I mean,
no.
in
Yeah,
order, you're just say like a mentor in a way.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, just I'd like, and it's just awareness of lots of little things,
Yeah.
And I think there's a kind of momentum building in this area, definitely for looking after ourselves. I think we're really starting to be aware just of how much control we actually do have, because I think we never thought we had any control. And I think
Yes.
there's still a bit of a notion that um, cancer, for example, or heart attack, for example, or diabetes, it just strikes you out of nowhere. It's just this malevolent thing that attacks you for no reason, and if you're going to get it, you're going to get it, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And that's not at all the way it is. And I do know that people say to me, look, what's for you won't pass you. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it. But it's like, no, there's so much we can do to make sure we don't, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and so for me, that's the big drive now is don't sit back and think, well, God, sure, if I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. And that there's nothing I can do about it.
Yes.
Wrong. And there's so many fantastic stories. I did a course recently online called Radical Remissions. It's amazing. And the number of people who have healed them, taken themselves out of hospices where they're given days and weeks to live and are completely healthy 25 years later, beyond doctors' understanding. They just can't. And there's so many phenomenal stories. There's a fabulous woman called Dr. Terry Walls. She was in a wheelchair for 3 years with MS. She was a doctor herself. She had all the top medications that can be given in the States. And she decided, no, this isn't working actually. It's my responsibility. Changed her diet, lots of vegetables, good fats, and she's up walking, talking, giving her speeches, living her life. Fabulous woman too. So
Yes.
many amazing stories. Um, and that just for me, that's really powerful. It's really hopeful. It's really great news.
I like what you said there. It's about taking control. Like that.
That's
That's
it.
like you have
That's it.
you have the you have the ability to take control and ownership of your own.
Ownership.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um.
100%. And that's a hard thing to do because we sometimes don't want to say, yeah, look, I really messed up there. I really shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. And I look back in my life and I think, how did you not see it? How were you so stupid? Now knowing it's like, what did you think was making you jittery at work? You just had a strong coffee. How could you be so stupid? And now it's all very clear and it's lovely and I understand it. So even if somebody if there's little tiny things that people can just go, oh, okay,
Yeah.
so this isn't a priority. Actually, this isn't a priority. Actually, it's okay to say no. Actually, it's okay to just, even at work, like, oh my goodness, see work contacting you outside work hours. Stop. No, don't do
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So anyway, lots of little things like that, Seamus. There's loads.
Awesome. Hey, Sharon, it has been an absolute pleasure to get
Oh, thanks
talking
a
to
million.
you
It's been great.
and
Thanks for having
listening.
me.
Yeah, for your stories, a really inspirational one. So hopefully this will make an
Oh,
impact out
sure,
there
yeah.
for you and start the ball rolling for those wee seminars and stuff for you.
Brilliant, Seamus. Thanks a million for your help.
Um, I will. So thanks for and again, and enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll be in touch over social media and stuff as well, and we'll get this here out there. All right.
Super. Thanks,
Chat
Seamus.
to you later. Thanks, Sharon.
Bye, bye, bye.
Yes.